Long before these forests were mapped, when the night still held secrets and spirits moved like shadows between the trees, the Algonquin spoke of a presence that watched the world. A giant, a guardian, a spirit older than the first snowfall. His name was Mooin, the Great Bear. They say he appears only to those who walk too boldly or too blindly. And once you step onto the path that leads to him, the forest never looks the same again. This is the story of the hunter who learned that truth. It began on a bitter morning when a thin frost whispered over the earth. The young hunter rose before dawn, restless from a dream he could not remember, only that something enormous had been watching him from behind a wall of trees. He tried to shake it off, but the feeling stayed. Down by the river, he noticed tracks pressed deep into the mud. He crouched beside them, measuring them with his own hands. The marks were so wide, he could have laid both palms inside one print, and something else surrounded the edges of the track. The frost had melted, as if the creature that left them carried heat in its body. The hunter frowned. No ordinary bear did this. He should have turned back. But pride whispered louder than caution. He carried on. The deeper he walked, the stranger the woods became. Bird songs faded. The wind died. Even the snow underfoot seemed muffled, as if the world held its breath. The tracks never wavered, steady, deliberate, leading him onward. At one point, he found a claw mark carved into a tree higher than he could reach. A chill crept over him. He almost whispered an apology to the forest, but he went on. By evening, the tracks angled toward a mountain whose slopes were veiled in a shifting gray mist, a mist that moved against the wind. As the hunter approached, he felt the ground vibrate, a faint tremor, slow, measured, heavy. He raised his bow, though a trembling doubt gnawed at him. He was being followed. He didn't know how long or from how far, but something walked behind him, matching his pace, closing the distance. When he finally turned, there was nothing, only trees, still, silent, watching. But he knew what he had sensed, and he knew he was no longer the one doing the hunting. Still, he pressed forward. Night fell. The moon rose, full, pale, unblinking. With it came a clearing he had never seen before, perfectly round, ringed with stones, blackened by age. The mist parted around its edges, like a curtain drawn aside. The tracks led straight into its center. And there, ascending from shadow like a living mountain, stood Mooin, the Great Bear Spirit, larger than any creature of flesh, fur shimmering like midnight water, eyes glowing with a deep, patient intelligence. But it was the silence that struck him hardest. Mooin made no sound, no growl, no huff, no movement, except the slow rise and fall of an impossible chest. It was as though the spirit had been waiting for him, and the hunter knew with a clarity that chilled him that his dream was not just a dream, that he had been watched, not just today, but for a long time. He tried to lift his bow. His arms refused him. The Mooin stepped forward. The ground shuddered with each step, not violently, but with the steady, unstoppable certainty of the earth itself shifting. When Mooin lowered his great head, the hunter saw his own reflection in those vast, dark eyes. And he did not see pride. He saw reckless ambition. He saw a man who took without thought, who believed the forest owed him meat and safety and survival. Mooin's breath washed over him, warm, ancient, alive, and a vision seized him. He saw the world as Mooin saw it. The long winters, the fragile cubs clinging to life, the constant balance between taking and giving, life and loss. He saw all bears, their struggles, their triumphs, their place in the web of existence. He saw the first people learning from the first bears, watching, respecting, sharing the land rather than conquering it. And beneath it all, he felt Mooin's unspoken question. What do you offer in return for what you take? The vision snapped away. Mooin's eyes still held him. The hunter understood. When he opened his eyes, the clearing was empty. The moon had set. The mist had faded. The Great Spirit was gone. The hunter bowed his head. He carried no meat home, but his people saw a change in him, a quietness, a humility, a reverence that had not been there before. From that day on, he took only what he needed. He taught others to hunt with gratitude, and he warned them, do not follow the tracks that are too large. Do not ignore the silence of the forest. And if the mist moves where it should not, turn back. But sometimes on cold winter nights, when the fire burned low, he felt a slow, heavy breath just beyond the edge of the light. Not threatening, not angry, just simply watching Mooin, the Great Bear, still guarding The balance, still judging those who walk the forest with careless steps, still reminding the world that some spirits are not meant to be chased, but respected. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell to uncover more mythical creatures.